Hi, everybody. This is Dave Jones with Storm Center Communications and Geo Collaborates. A little bit late in the afternoon on Tuesday, March 18th, 2025. And this is going to be a brief weather update. I just wanted to talk a little bit about the major fire danger we have, fire weather danger in the Midwest today, down towards Texas as well. But I do want to show you a couple of things first, and that is look at this spinning monstrosity out here in the Atlantic Ocean. It's not a tropical system. By the way, this update is for the All Hazards Consortium, the sensitive information sharing environment, where we share information across platforms, across devices, and across organizations from state emergency operations center, private sector liaisons, to private sector owner and operator organizations like investor-owned utilities, transportation, food, fuel, communications sectors, just so we can be on the same page at the same time, looking at any extreme weather events that might be interrupting the flow of commerce and transportation across the country. But look at this. This is what we have. This is a big spinning low pressure system now over the Atlantic, and there is yet another one too. Let me move further to the east. Look at this one here. These aren't tropical. These are more synoptic scale, larger scale systems, extra tropical storms, but they certainly are kicking up waves and have a lot of wind and thunderstorms with them. That is what's going on out in the Atlantic Ocean. Meanwhile, after the tragic severe weather that we had starting last Friday into Saturday, Sunday, that storm has moved off the coast. That severe weather is out of here, and you can see the sunny weather, sunny skies, dry conditions. Thank goodness for a lot of the response and recovery actions that are going on. So many tornado reports, more than 70 of them, with 3 EF4 reports of tornadoes. That's when the Weather Service, the National Weather Service, goes out and they survey the damage that these tornadoes have caused. They look at very intricate things like the tie downs, the wraps that the houses were constructed with, the roof wraps, the steel tie downs and bolts that are holding the foundations together. Have tornadoes been strong enough to rip that apart and in some cases take away the entire house? And yes, we have seen that in some areas. That is why it's gotten the extremely rare EF4 rating. I haven't yet seen if we're going to see any EF5 tornadoes. It's been a long time since we've seen an EF5 tornado in the United States. But this is a look from the GOES satellite, the NOAA GOES satellite that's 22,300 miles up. By the way, in just a minute, I'm going to show you something cool I have never showed before, so hopefully you'll like it here. But as we go out towards the Midwest, this is the area of big concern in New Mexico, Texas, Oklahoma, parts of Oklahoma at least. There is a high risk for fire danger, and I want to take you over to Geo Collaborate and show you that as well. Let's go over that right now. I'll take you full screen. I've done a couple of things here with Geo Collaborate since this is an interactive GIS system. GIS stands for Geographic Information Systems. I can take this and overlay various data layers. So what you see here in the bullseye is an extreme fire danger because it's so dry, number one, and the winds are blowing so hard in the southern part of the country. I'll show you those wind gusts in just a moment, but this is a high risk for wildfire danger. Now, it doesn't mean that because the danger is there, wildfires are going to form. It basically means that if wildfires form in this area, they have the conditions to spread very rapidly. Strong winds, dry conditions, tinder dry vegetation would create for very fast spreading wildfires. So please, if you live in this area, pay close attention to any smoke that you might see on the horizon. If that smoke is blowing towards you, that could mean there's a wildfire, a brush fire developing, and those strong winds would be carrying it towards your area. So you want to make sure you're ready to get out of there as soon as possible if you see smoke blowing towards your area. Now I'm going to zoom in here a little bit because these little red dots are actual hotspots that have been detected by NOAA satellites. Yes, we can detect hotspots where fires might be. Now, sometimes they might be prescribed fires, but I don't think we have any prescribed fires in an area where there's a huge wildfire risk from the Storm Prediction Center issued here. So these are areas we're going to have to watch very closely. And the other data layer that I have on here, and I'll turn off the fire risk danger off, the fire outlook for day one. I'll turn that off because what you see here is soil moisture. This is derived from satellite, and we can see where the soil moisture is very dry. Look at this, tinder dry in Colorado, down towards New Mexico. Look at these areas. All these mean very dry soils. So you combine that with the winds and the dry air conditions, that means that it is prime for winds, for wildfires driven by winds. Now, let's take a look at some of those winds right now. This is real-time data. It's from the National Weather Service, and it's showing where we have the strongest wind gusts right now. And look at this. Over in parts of New Mexico, 67 miles per hour. That's right here. 40, 41, 43, all through Oklahoma. Look at this. Winds in the 30s. Here's a 51 in the western panhandle of Oklahoma. These are wind gusts in the last 15 minutes that have been recorded by National Weather Service sensors. Look at this, just south of Albuquerque, 53 and 63 miles per hour as far as the wind gusts go. So these are really fanning the flames. And let me just change the drawing here. I'll change it to yellow so you can see because the wind direction is very strong from the south and the southwest here. I can see that from the wind barbs that are from here, the National Weather Service. These show the direction that the wind is coming from. And so whenever you see the barbs, the wind is coming this way. It's coming from the south to the north. But we have very strong winds, high wind gusts, dry conditions, and that fire danger. So let me go just show you GeoCollaborate one more time, and I'll turn on the fire danger. And that is the fire danger for right now. And that's what this is. This is the day one fire outlook. So that's the area. And I'll zoom out here just a little bit too, because it does extend into Kansas and over into including Kansas City and parts of Missouri. You see that? This is a wildfire and fire danger. It is critical here in this pink area, parts of southwestern Oklahoma, much of northern Texas, and southeastern New Mexico. But let me shift it over to the wildfire and fire danger for tomorrow. I'm turning off today's. This is the outlook for tomorrow. So not as critical, but one thing that I do want you to notice, and that is that we do have the chance for wildfires and wildfire spread here along the Appalachians into Ohio, even parts of, let me just redraw that, into parts of southwestern Pennsylvania and West Virginia here down the spine of the Appalachians. This, unfortunately, this area includes parts of Asheville, North Carolina, Buncombe County there, and I'll take the circle off here just to clear that out. But you can see this extends down to the higher elevations of the Appalachians. This is where they're recovering from all of the damage caused by Hurricane Helene just about 6 months ago, a little bit more than 6 months ago. And there's a lot of wildfire fuel in these mountains, a lot of trees that were knocked over that are just drying out day after day. Now, they have had some snow, they've had some rain and things like that, but there is a wildfire danger here during the day tomorrow because of strong winds. Now, the good news is, look at all this blue in here. This is soil moisture, so it's moist here. We've had snow, we've had rain, we had the severe storms over the last several days. So look at this. The eastern almost third of the country has some decent soil moisture. But look at down in Florida. Look at this. Very dry conditions in Florida and out in the Midwest, extremely dry. I'm very concerned for the growing season, this upcoming growing season in the Midwest here. If things dry out too much and we get into a pattern where we have a building high pressure heat dome over the central part of the country, it's going to be hard to even buy a raindrop in this area. So we're hoping that that doesn't happen, and we're hoping that we do get precipitation throughout the area. Now I'm going to turn off the fire danger for tomorrow. I'm also going to turn off the soil moisture. So I'm going to turn that off, and now you can see the weather radar data and the hot spots that I've identified. So here's the rain and snow. Actually, you're going to get some more snow coming up. You can see that in the crawl as well down below. Blizzard conditions expected for portions of the Central Plains, so in South Dakota and the Midwest through tomorrow evening. Through tomorrow evening, we have another snowstorm coming, and it may even impact the Twin Cities. So Minneapolis, this is a line of snow going on right now, and we do have strong winds that are blowing up there as well. But I'm going to switch over to the temperatures and look at the temperatures in the upper Midwest here, just to show you what it looks like, because it is cold enough for snow. Let's take a look at that right now. Look at these temperatures. They're in the 20s and 30s. That is through the upper part of the Midwest. Look at this in North Dakota, 30s. All this is below freezing right in this area here. So there's cold air over in this direction here that's going to be pulled in by low pressure. Right now, Twin Cities, not bad at all. 48 degrees, 39, temperatures in the 30s and 40s, but there is snow headed in your direction. And that is something that I'll highlight here on the weather models. One last thing I wanted to turn on in GeoCollaborate, and I'll show you that full screen right here, is the watches, warnings, and advisories from the National Weather Service. And here we go. So in the pink, these are all fire danger, red flag warning advisories out. These are red flag warnings, mean the conditions are favorable for spread of wildfire. But then look, we get down into Nebraska, we get down into southern Minnesota. What is this? Let's click on this. Look at this. A blizzard warning. Blizzard warning in effect for southern Minnesota, including Rochester, and that extends all the way over into northeastern Nebraska. There are high wind warnings and blizzard warnings, and even in North Dakota, high wind warnings, blizzard warnings there. So blowing and drifting of snow, the definition of a blizzard is that which snowfall reduces the visibility below a half a mile for 3 consecutive hours and winds over 35 miles per hour. So there are winter storm warnings here to the northwest. That's what this is here in southeastern Montana. So winter has not finished its grip yet. I'll zoom out here a little bit and show you what that looks like, because the storm that's wrapping up is going to provide lots of wind and lots of snow in the northern parts of the Midwest there. And there are the advisories. So lots of wind, and you can see that strip of winter storm warnings going up right through the north central part of Wisconsin. Madison, you'll be okay. You won't have any major snows there, but just off to the southwest or the northwest of Madison, in southeast Minnesota, it looks like there's going to be a sweet spot of blizzard conditions right in there. So let's do this. Let me show you the satellite picture because I wanted to show you, this is something really cool I wanted to show you. This, of course, is the GOES East satellite. But have you ever seen the two GOES East and GOES West satellites at the same time pulled all the way out so we can watch the entire hemisphere? The Eastern Hemisphere, the Western Hemisphere here. Let me show you what that looks like. Are you ready for this? I'm going to show you. Here we go in just a second. I got to set up for it. Okay, here we go in 1, 2, 3. Take a look at this. This is the GOES West satellite and the GOES East satellite at the same time. We're taking a look live, basically, from two satellites from NOAA. And the one on the left is GOES West, and the one on the east, on the right, is GOES East. And so I want to basically do a little bit of drawing here. I'll show you what it looks like. So this is the GOES West satellite here, and you can see the terminator line. This is the sunrise line. So this is the start of the day, just passing through Hawaii, the 6-hour difference from the East Coast, but now headed over towards Japan. But look, here comes the GOES East satellite, and that's what I want to put into motion here. So there you see the terminator line coming in towards the East Coast, and I'm going to update that as well for you to get the latest imagery here. And now you can see the terminator line coming close to Maine as the sun starts to set. But look at that. It's already set in eastern South America, and here it comes. And look at this. Look here in the Pacific Ocean. That is the reflection of the sun off the Pacific Ocean. Just like you see the sun reflecting off a big puddle, this is a big puddle when you're 22,300 miles out. This is the reflection of the sun. It's not any mysterious UFO. It's not anything extraterrestrial. It's the reflection of the sun. And look, we can see it in the GOES West satellite as well. Look at this. Here comes the sun, the reflection of the sun moving across the Pacific. So you can see it going there on the GOES East satellite, and you can see it on the GOES West satellite. Really fantastic. Now, let's talk a little bit about weather real quick. Look at this big storm that's rotating up in the Gulf of Alaska. That is a pretty deep storm causing waves of 30 to 35 feet in the Gulf of Alaska there. And also we have these spinning storms off the East Coast that I showed you at the beginning of this video. So the big deal is the fire danger that's happening in the Midwest, and I can dive in just a little bit closer into the mesoscale sector for the GOES East satellite. Okay, so I've zoomed right into Oklahoma, and you can see Oklahoma. And I do want to show you as well, I want to show you these fires. Look at these fires where my dot is. These are smoke plumes right here, here, right there, there, and there. There are 3 smoke plumes that are showing up. Now, these are fires in Oklahoma. One thing I can't confirm at the moment is whether these are prescribed fires or not prescribed, because it looks right now like this area is not in the wildfire danger area. That's further to the west through southwest Oklahoma and northern Texas, things like that. But it does show you that we can see these wildfires. As a matter of fact, I'll zoom in a little bit more so we can take a look at them. You can see those fires burning. There they are right there. And we can watch the smoke plumes. These other things coming across, these are contrails from airplanes, from jets. No such thing as chemtrails. They're not spraying anything. Contrails, which is condensation from the engine of the aircraft. We wrote about that in our book, The Megalodons, Mermaids, and Climate Change, Answers to Your Ocean and Atmosphere Questions. Okay, now what I've done here for this blizzard that's developing is zoomed in right on the upper Midwest so I can show you in the forecast model. This is the GFS model how quickly this is going to come in. And this is 2 o'clock this afternoon Eastern time. Now I'm going to continue this and look at this low pressure system that's developing over parts of Kansas. This is Kansas. Here is Iowa right here. Here is Nebraska, South Dakota, North Dakota, Minnesota right here. So we're going to develop this low pressure system very quickly. Look at this, a very intense low pressure as snow starts to close in on the Twin Cities here. Now this is tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning we have a distinct line between rain and snow. Remember I showed you those temperatures right now, 49 degrees in Minneapolis. But then take a look at this. This is very heavy snow. This is where the blizzard warnings are in effect. Even though it's warm, fairly warm out right now, you have a blizzard warning that's in effect for tomorrow because of this fast moving system. And so this is by tomorrow afternoon and then tomorrow evening. Look at this. It does look like the Twin Cities will get snow, but also perhaps mix in with rain as well on the back end here because there's not a whole lot of Arctic air available to keep this as snow. This is really such a dynamic system. Most of this snow is going to be created by what we call dynamic cooling of the atmosphere. When you have snow and it falls so heavily, or rain that falls heavily, drops the dew points, drops the temperature, changes to snow. So it could be quite a wet snow in some areas here. But let's continue this animation on because Wisconsin, you're talking about snow in the central and northern parts of the state there. And then this system pulls out with some cold air on the back edge here. Perhaps Chicago, you're in the rain right here, but perhaps switching over into some mixed rain, snow, kind of sloppiness on your windshield as this ends up on Thursday morning. So it looks like we have a quick hitter, but winter is not done as of yet. Where's the cold air and where is the warm air? I like to show you this around the country because it can show us where things are going to warm up, things are going to cool down, where it's going to be spring, where it's going to be summer. And this is the temperature at about 5,000 feet. Starting this afternoon in the mid-Atlantic states, warmed up quite nicely. Still a chill in the air because we had this area of cold air that moved out from this morning. So last night was pretty cold in the mid-30s around the Washington, D.C. area. But look what happens to this warm air here that's over us. Tomorrow, it's going to be pretty spectacular. This is a snapshot for tomorrow afternoon. 70s, low 70s in the mid-Atlantic area. It's going to be a gorgeous day. And then the cold air, look at this. This is that blizzard wrapping up. Isn't that amazing? You can see it in the temperature field wrapping up here as this storm moves up towards Chicago. Cold air on the back end. That's what's changing the rain to snow. And that's what's causing that blizzard. But then look what happens when the low crosses the Great Lakes. The cold air comes in around it. You see that? So this is warm air still through Thursday. So Thursday is going to be quite warm in the mid-Atlantic area. But then here comes that front. This is a cold front being dragged through by that strong low pressure system that's well up north into Canada by this time, which is late Thursday night into early Friday morning. And then bam, there you have it right here. This is the front coming through in the Washington, through Pittsburgh, through Baltimore, down into Norfolk. This area of cold air is going to be driving right in. So on Friday, it's going to be a quick hitting, kind of cold morning, and then sort of trying to warm up in the afternoon. But you're going to still say, boy, it still feels like a little bit of winter in the air. And then it warms up slightly before Sunday. Another punch of cold air comes in towards New England and the mid-Atlantic states. But look at this warm up. Minneapolis, you might have a blizzard, or south of Minneapolis might have a serious snow accumulation. But by Sunday, you're going to be very warm once again. March, you got to love it, right? So this area of cold air will pull out under another low pressure system. It's going to come back and slap Minneapolis and the Twin Cities and Chicago on Monday morning early. And then it will pull out before, but not before it impacts, look at that, a lot of the northeastern and mid-Atlantic parts of the U.S. So we do have quite a bit of variable and changeable weather that's headed our way. Impacts to critical infrastructure looks like it's going to happen where those blizzard warnings are and where that heavy snow is going to fall. And that's up through parts of Minneapolis or Minnesota, down ports of extreme northwestern Iowa and Nebraska. Meanwhile, in the South and the Mid-Atlantic for the next couple days at least, it looks like there's a reprieve from the severe weather, and our hearts and prayers go out to those impacted by the severe weather from over the weekend. I know we had many folks lost in these storms, and that's something that the recovery is going to be continuing for a very, very long time. So I'm Dave Jones with Storm Center Communications and GeoCollaborate. Please watch out for yourself, and please watch out for your neighbors. They do appreciate it. Thanks so much for watching.